Cimoooooooo.
What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So today we're going to be discussing the third and final Genesis Impact deck building set archetype to be announced, the Live Twin Archetype. There has been so much hype around this archetype just because of the artwork, so there is a lot to talk about. Now, we did do discussions on both of the other archetypes, the Drytron as well as the Magistus. You can check out those videos if you want, but today's going to be all about Live Twin, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So, first of all is our first monster being Live Twin Cimoooooooo. So it is a level 2 light cyberse effect monster with 500 attack and 0 defense. You can only use the one effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned and you control no other monsters, you can special summon one Lila monster from your hand or deck. Lila, I'm assuming, is going to be the other twin. Second effect, each time an opponent's monster declares an attack, you gain 500 life points. That kind of reminds me of like Prank Kids in a way, having that sort of effect, but let's go ahead and move on and see what the other twin is, Lila, and it looks like she is the blue twin. So this is Live Twin Lila, a level 2 dark cyberse effect monster, 500 attack, 0 defense. You can only use the one effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you control no other monsters, you can special summon one Cimoooooooo monster from your hand or deck. And the second effect, your opponent must pay 500 life points to declare an attack. So just on the surface, these two twins don't seem like ridiculous. Now, to be fair, they do special summon themselves out, so that's kind of cool because you can special summon it directly from the deck, and usually your starting play is going to be with one of these two, I'd imagine. So we're going to have to see where this goes and what other cards we have that are a part of this archetype. So first up, it looks like we have a Link 2 monster, Evil Twin Cimoooooooo. So it is a Link 2 Light Fiend Link effect monster with an attack of 1100, and its arrows are bottom and to the right. Pretty decent arrows. I think bottom left and bottom right are probably like the best on a Link 2, but at least you get one downward pointing arrow. So you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn, and it requires 2 monsters, including a Cimoooooooo monster. What's interesting here is that you just need a Cimoooooooo monster and anything else, so that means that the link spam options are definitely plentiful. So the first effect, if this card is special summoned, you control a Lila monster, you can draw one card. So that's already pretty good. Your opening play can consist of Cimoooooooo, special summon Lila, and then you have any other monster to summon for link fodder. Link the Cimoooooooo and the link monster, or the whatever monster, into the link version of Cimoooooooo, the evil twin here, and then you get to draw a card because you control the Lila. So that's pretty neat. During the main phase, if you control no Lila monsters, quick effect, you can special summon one Lila monster from your graveyard, but you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Fiend monsters. So it does lock you into Fiend monsters. However, what's neat about this effect is that you can get the Lila monsters back from your graveyard. Now, I'm assuming there's going to be an Evil Twin Lila as well, so that means that you could bring back the Link form of it, which is pretty nice. You don't get the first effect trigger because it has to be on special summon, but so even if at the very least you use Cimoooooooo and Lila to make Evil Twin Lila, Evil Twin Cimoooooooo, excuse me, you can get back that Lila since you don't control any Lila monsters. So that's another way to help you link climb, but again, you are locked into Fiends, which isn't the worst because I think Nightmares are Fiends, so I mean, at least you could make like a unicorn play at the very least, I suppose. Let's go ahead and see what Evil Twin Lila is all about here. So it's a Link 2 Dark Fiend effect monster, attack 1100. Links are bottom and left. So it's kind of like the opposite of Cimoooooooo, so it makes sense. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned and you control a Cimoooooooo monster, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. That's pretty good. So instead of drawing a card and giving yourself resources, it's going to deplete your opponent of a resource depending on what you're trying to achieve. Second effect, I imagine this is going to be like the Cimoooooooo one. During the main phase, if you control no Cimoooooooo monsters, quick effect, you can special summon a Cimoooooooo monster from your graveyard, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Fiend type monsters. It's also nice, it only locks you out of the extra deck for Fiends, and you can still special summon other monsters that are in your main deck. So that's also something to note there, but seems pretty all right. And now here we go. Oh man, this is the card that people I think were freaking out about. So this is Evil Twins Cimoooooooo Lila. So it is a level 8 Dark Fiend effect monster with 2200 attack and defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard, interestingly enough, by tributing 2 Link monsters. So we already saw the Link monsters. You can use the one effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can make your opponent send cards they control to the graveyard until they control 2. That effect is absurd. That is basically evenly matched. Now, I don't want to say it's exactly evenly matched because unfortunately it doesn't like banish the cards. It sends them to the graveyard. And so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Have graveyard-like triggers that it's going to be a little bit rough for you to like really get your opponent down to 2 cards. Because if they are playing some sort of like graveyard reliant deck, then they can get like 2 cards back or replenish some of the resources that they lost. But being able to send all of your opponent's cards to the graveyard except 2 is insane. I think the bad part about this is I think your opponent sends the cards, so they're going to keep their best 2 cards, which is the worst part about this, but it's a pretty cool equalizer nonetheless. And then the second effect is gains 2200 attack and defense while there is a Cimoooooooo monster and Lilo monster in your graveyard. And most likely there's going to be, given the circumstances of how you can just make this card, so this is going to be a 4400 attack body. That's pretty cool, but again, like there isn't any protection on this card. There's just so many points of vulnerability here, but it's a really, really neat effect, and you don't really see something that just sends like all these cards to the graveyard too often. Typically, it's like destroying all cards your opponent controls, but interesting card for sure. Let's go ahead and see what else they've got working here. So we have a quick play spell, Live Twin Entrance. So you can only activate it once per turn. Discard a card, special summon a Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Evil Twin monster. So this locks you specifically into Evil Twin, not even Fiend, but it's pretty cool. The discard effect actually nice because there's so many like link fodder cards that can be discarded and then come back just for free fodder. So that's neat. But being able to just get another Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster onto the field to help you get into these link climbing plays, it's a starter. Like, what else could you really ask for? It's great. And special summons from the deck on top of it. Like, that's nuts. Then we also have a field spell. This is Live Twin Channel. So you can only use this card effect once per turn. When a monster declares an attack, you contribute 1 Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster, negate that attack. Okay. During the end phase, this is the second effect, by the way, you can target 1 Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if you control no monsters, add it to your hand instead. So I'm not sure how I feel about this field spell. It doesn't generate any advantage on activation. That's typically what you want to look for in a field spell, or it just has to have some like absurd effect otherwise for you to want to play it. And while this card can generate you advantage, it's usually only in the end phase, and it's if you control no monsters. So like, is that really good? I don't necessarily think so. Also, declaring an attack, attributing a monster to negate the attack, I don't think that's that particularly good. Also, I know you don't mind some of these monsters being in the graveyard, and like technically you can have this like sort of loop with this card as well, but I just think that's not really, it's definitely on the low power level of field spells for sure, unless they have, you know, some other reason that you're really going to want to use it. I don't think the field spell's particularly strong. Next up is Evil Twin Challenge. This is a normal trap card. You can only activate it once per turn. Target a Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can link summon 1 Evil Twin Link monster using monsters you control. This is really neat. So why I like this card is because being able to link into either of the Evil Twin links up here on special summon, as long as you control one of the other twins, depending on what you're wanting to do, you can either draw a card on your opponent's turn, or you can pop a card during their turn and potentially interrupt their play. Lila is definitely the better of the two here. I guess if your opponent's playing a little bit more passively, then Cimoooooooo might be better, but being able to do that at spell speed 2 because it's a trap is really, really nice. It's a pretty simple effect. It's nothing crazy. It just kind of helps you get everything back in rotation, especially like after you get like board wiped or something like that. It's a pretty decent card. Then next up, we have a continuous spell here, Evil Twin Easy Game. So it says you can only use the one effect of this card's name once per turn. You can tribute a Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster to activate one of these effects. Either target a Cimoooooooo or Lilo monster you control, it gains attack equal to the tributed monster's original attack until the end of this turn, or when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, negate that effect. Okay, so we have a little bit of disruption here, potentially, because being able to tribute one of our monsters off, and then for the second effect, we're basically able to negate the effect of something that would be destroying something on our field. So that's not bad. The attack gain effect, I don't think is too good. Maybe if you're trying to go for game, it's okay. But I definitely think the second part of this effect is the stronger half. Now let's go ahead and get to the normal trap card, Evil Twin Presence. So you can only activate it once per turn. If you control a Kiss Kill monster and a Lila monster, you can activate one of these effects. Target a Kiss Kill or Lila monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Switch control of those two monsters. Switching control of monsters is something that is very powerful in Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately, this does target, and I think that's one of the downsides here, but being able to just switch control of it means that they're not going to be able to use it for whatever play that they want to do, and I think that is really, really cool. The second effect is target one set spell or trap your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. I mean, this is just a very, very strong effect. I think the worst part about this card is that you need to control both Cimoooooooo and Lila for this card to be able to activate. The payoff is huge, don't get me wrong, but the issue is it is a bit conditional, and if you're playing a card like this, there's going to be times where you don't have both twins on the field, or even if you do, your opponent might use some sort of effect that makes it suboptimal for you to want to use this card, or makes it so that it's not even useful for you to use the effect at all. And so, you know, when you have these types of conditional effects, it's sometimes hard to justify, but I definitely think both of these effects are strong. It really just depends on how consistently you can keep out both of the twins. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of ways to do so, but it's definitely going to be not as easy as some people might think. And then moving on along, it looks like we just have a copy of Nightmare Griffin because you're locked into Fiends with some of these effects, and the Nightmares are Fiends, so that's pretty nice. So at least you have some other synergy outside of just the evil twin cards themselves. I think there's one other card we got released here just recently. It is Secret Passphrase. So it is a normal spell. You can only activate it once per turn. The effect reads, add one live twin or evil twin spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and if you control a Cimoooooooo monster and a Lila monster, you can add one evil twin monster instead. So I really like this. I like that you can use the effect and get some pretty good value off of it. Or if you have both of the twins already, you can specifically add a monster. I think they're definitely alluding here that if you have both of the twins, maybe even both of the links specifically, then you can specifically search the level 8 here. That'll make your opponent send cards to the graveyard. That's their big payoff. But overall, very interesting archetype, that's for sure. The art style is definitely unique. I will give it that. But the cards and the interactions between this like twin dynamic and wanting to have both of them on the field, one always gets another, and you're trying to play this game where you have to keep them both on the field to have maximum value and really just get the most value out of all of your cards and kind of keep your opponent in check. The cards aren't super prohibitive in terms of their effects. I mean, some of them do lock you into only using monsters from the extra deck that are either Fiends or that are actually evil twin monsters specifically, but I think there is still some potential here, especially because the Fiend pool has the Nightmares, that there could be some potential. It really just depends on what people are going to come up with. There are some disruption points, and I think the biggest issue that I see with this archetype is that their big payoff is a monster that isn't necessarily that powerful. And I say that even though it's a card that sends all of your opponent's monsters to the graveyard besides two, you have to remember, if you're playing a graveyard-centric deck, you're not really going to get much value out of it because they're just going to trigger everything and probably get back all the advantage they just lost. Also, your opponent gets to pick which two cards, I believe, and that's probably the worst part of the effect because they're just going to keep their two best cards so that way they can recover best from that situation. So it's a really neat card, but again, it's also susceptible to literally everything in the game. There are some cards that are able to just help protect from that, but it really just has this playstyle that you have to build around it and really hope to resolve that. But at the very least, it does have a lot of link climbing capabilities as well, and who knows, maybe we'll see future support. We've definitely seen future support for some of these other deck building sets in the past, so it's not impossible, but we'll just have to see where the archetype goes. I think the jury's still out on this one, but definitely a very interesting archetype for sure. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the brand new Evil Twin archetype. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always, subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content, and if you found this video informative, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Just by showing your support in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.